Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Well, interesting action overnight. A little bit, well, so first of all, we had a good run yesterday in equities. Came back a little bit, but it's still going. And I have to say, we're in a pretty positive spot. Oh, that is not the chart that I wanted to bring over anyways. Let's look at it here. Yes, looking positive, right? ZB did make a new low overnight as well. So it's looking like we're getting some good downtrend. But they are moving back a little bit, and I'm thinking that we might get a little bit of... Oh, so there's 21.5. Well, I'm still favoring the downside, but I don't know. We might have a little bit of a move up. There is this area around here, 25.5. But at the moment, it looks like there's still pretty heavy selling. Where is Discord? Oh, quit Origin. We don't need that stuff running. And we don't need that either. All this junk wants to run. All right. Okay. It is a Chinese New Year now. Okay. Didn't get a bar to close below 31. Interesting. Okay, so there's a buy there on the open. Let's post the links here. Already got a good number of people watching, even on Twitch. Thank you guys for watching. So, you need to do something about that. Here we go. Suitable for all investors. That's interesting. That it's giving me that, but whatever. Whatever. I guess I'll grab my restream chat. So they did try to go up there. They're not being aggressive. I don't know. It looks up to me though. This continues to be doing this. What happens if I go in and change this? What happens if I go in and change this and market depth to 10? Does that change my auction vista? Flip. Not really. Don't know why. It's saying that the flip is not much. It did tick up. Oh, that's right. I don't know what's wrong with it. Maybe I should just like close it and open it again. No, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Maybe it has to do with the depth tuner? Huh. Oh. That's the depth tuner. Depth scope. Not like go to 10. Okay, well, whatever. It's back to 32. There's some at 16. Oh, there's some really big ones way up there at 31. Okay, they did take a little bit into 22, but then they came back. ZB tested the 30-day value area at 144.30 in overnight trading, and for now it appears to be holding the bull bear zone. So in the 145.01 to 145.05 area, we're at the top of that. As long as price can stay above that 144.30, I'd have to say my bias is the upside. A test of 145.10 area could see a move to single prints in the 145.22 area. Am I seeing spreading? So the 10-year is lagging. Excuse me. Let me try blowing my nose. I don't know, guys. That looks like something that can keep going. Let me check out. Okay, so first of all, I don't have the squawk on. We should fix that. There we go. Okay. Today, we have ISM non-manufacturing PMI. I'm just going to water all over myself. Excuse me. This, This is interesting. That was definitely a buy in the Treasuries. Next line of resistance is 23.5. That's a ways up there. There is some absorption buying right there at 22. ZB could go to 09. So I see a lot of things telling me that this could keep going. I think probably already missed the opportunity to get into it because, we're 3 and 3, but I'm not going to short it here, though. Kind of interesting. Interesting that it's going like that. Okay. Yeah. Not only is it iceberging, they're willing to buy it up there pretty quick. Like somebody really wants to buy this. And look at the 5-year. Why though? I don't know. It looks like they want to flatten. The 10-year is lagging though. I think for this to happen, I think we would need to come up here, and then they would need to slam down the 10-year or the 5-year really hard. Yeah. Hmm. Any political news overnight? Senate Democrats block Sassy's bill prohibiting infanticide. Well, that's interesting. Ben Sass.
StatsCan still has no date to publish this December trade data. As we said, it has been suspended due to the previous US government shutdown.
Look at that.
StatsCan also saying data of the Canadian trade releases beyond January may also be affected.
Okay, so there's a definite volume node there at 22.5 of sorts. Still going up.
Some equity news as well. Chevron proposing appointment of Bramson to Barclays board.
So our levels in ZB were 10 and then 22. And I was seeing 23.5 the overnight. And then what do I have after that? That's still the high. This area right here at 29.5 might provide some really heavy resistance if we were to get that far. I don't have any. Maybe do we have 3-year today? Treasury Direct. .gov. Upcoming auctions. Excuse me. I don't know. Okay. There you go. No signs of slowing down, really. On the Senate floor this evening, Senator Ben Sasse called for unanimous consent on his Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act, which provides protections for any infants born alive after attempted abortion procedures. Democratic Senator Patty Murray of Washington objected to the bill on the floor, preventing it from receiving unanimous consent. Earlier today, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell affirmed his support for Sasse's legislation and hinted that he'd be willing to bring it to the floor for a roll call vote. I hope that none of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle invent any reasons to block this request later today. That would make quite a disturbing statement if they do inexplicably block Senator Sasse's efforts. I can assure them that this will not be the last time we try to ensure that all newborns are afforded this fundamental legal protection. Oh, okay, man. Man. Really? That's super bizarre. You know, what was the name of this guy in North Carolina that they're talking about? He was dressed up in blackface, but then they're not sure. Northam, this Northam guy. You know, he said something about abortion, and then this picture came up. And when it happened, I wondered if it was a friendly fire. You get what I mean? Like, hey, what you're doing is like really bad for us, and having your name in office is really bad for us, and we need you to go, and so we're going to help you go. That's what I kind of thought it was. Conspiracy theory, I know, but like that just kind of seemed to fit. Well, that pressure at 23 is building. So it is taking them a little bit to try and get over this hump at 23.5. That they probably will do it though. We'll see. I bet you there's going to be some profit taking at 23.5, but it could keep going. Anyways, I think that this infanticide issue is really bad for Democrats, and they want to get away with it, away from it. And yet you have things like this that apparently some in the party are willing to. Man, I don't know what to think about that. That's just, I would have thought that the people in the party would have been smart and said this is like a super bad issue with voters and we need to get away from it. But they apparently have beliefs about it that they think are more important than that. Okay, so that's interesting that it is now only 25 at 22.25. That is not necessarily a super strong bet. If this does decide to go down, I want to short it. But I don't think that was kind of normal.
Equity news: Russia's Rosneft. Around the commodities news, Russia's Rosneft prepared a range of output scenarios depending on OPEC Plus.
And good morning, Wrong and Big Toasty. Sorry, I didn't see your comments a little bit earlier. I guess I'm 90 seconds behind. Yeah, okay, so they did make it go bid at 23 again, but it's not a strong bid. It's 22.5. It's 44.79. I mean, that's reasonable.
Russia's Rosneft attacks, different scenarios for OPEC and
There we
non-OPEC
go.
oil output seal.
I mean, I think that this is going to continue, but you never know. Look at the trend in the 5-year. That thing has just gone straight up. Not a single tick down. They have not beaten out their previous resistance, though, at 13.5. And they're ticking down there and kind of dragging everything down.
EU will likely block the Alstom-Siemens deal, according to Alstom's CEO, saying to the Figaro.
Okay, that bid at 23 is building up a little bit stronger this time. I wonder what this means, though. Are they going to sell the E-mini hardcore today? I mean, I guess we are due for a pullback. We've had how many days now in a row? That one, I don't know if that counts. I think that was up, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that 23 half doesn't look too strong. They're not like going for it though. Okay, that time they was a little bit more significant of a sell at 23. And the 22 half is pulling. Not enough to trigger my stop entry, but and there was a big iceberg at 13 too. Well, they're able to get above it still. They're kind of struggling with each other here at 13. But for them to not get to 13 half is not good. In ZF, not good for move higher.
Some equity news more from the Alstom CEO, saying the appeal of the deal veto is not our priority.
And it's definitely slowed down here as well. So it could continue to go up, but it's they've lost interest in doing so for the moment. And there's a downtick again. There's a lot being absorbed on the bid. Hmm. They're not able to build up a very strong bid at 23 at all anymore. Hmm. I'm sorry for all the coughing today, and my throat just feels like really ticklish. I just need to drink more water here, and probably didn't get enough water last night. Okay, that 23 half of the flip there, 23 half pulled. Okay. Uptick. Hmm. Yeah, they're holding a pretty okay bid at 23 half as well. And now that might be a false breakout from a zipper, but ZB's going to have to push beyond 13 half for this to continue. Yep, a little bit of more volume there. I think they might get over this one too. You notice how it's like they kind of are showing like, hey, maybe we want to reverse, but they never give an actual real downtick momentum flip. The way this is moving though kind of indicates to me more trading than fundamentals, but it could be possible that we are getting a fundamental move. It's very even there, 3 by 3. So you could probably get filled at 23 half. I think you buy 23 half, sell 24. We'll see. So sexy. Don't you just love these sexy sounds of coughing in your ear
no plans to choke
while you're
production
trading?
at its Roscoe field due to the OPEC's deal.
Okay, so down tick at 23 half. Right back up pretty easily, but it does kind of look
Whilst
like
they're saying it is to
that
delay
fake
the launch
zipper
of
thing.
several projects on this OPEC Plus deal.
You can see this all the time where you get a zipper and then they make a move outside of it and it flips around really quickly. And it goes back into the zipper and then who knows what it's going to do. You know, it has been, we've been watching it only 30 minutes. Only been watching it 30 minutes. It seems like it's been a lot longer, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just that 23.5 they're having a real hard time with. Hey Jan, how's it going? I think we saw you yesterday, didn't we? I don't recall now. I'm thinking that we missed you yesterday, but I don't remember anymore. You know, although you didn't miss anything yesterday, it was kind of a real slow grinder. This move up started out really strong, and now it is turning into a slow grinder as well. It would not necessarily be a bad idea to short 23.5. I'm watching it, but I don't think that everything else is really in my favor. Like, we're above the VWAP, we're above the bull bear zone. I don't understand why they're buying it. I don't see anything in the E-mini to indicate that the E-mini is about to sell that would justify this buying, but they did buy really strong, and I don't want to stand in front of it.
Sees the Glaxo deal closing in the second half of March.
I do have to say, having so much trouble at this spot is not a very bullish sign. ZB had trouble at 12 as well. So Fed Chairman Powell met with Trump for an informal dinner to discuss the economy. Interesting. Wow, did Nvidia lost half its value in 4 months? I didn't realize that it was that bad. You know what, though? They were way higher than they had any business being because of the cryptocurrency market. And it's kind of inevitable that the prices, that they're going to catch themselves in a bad spot. And the problem is, they didn't really prepare themselves for it. Like they released this new graphics card and just put it at a higher price point and kept all the other cards the same price. So when prices start falling on them, they're going to have these big expensive cards that they aren't going to be able to make money on and that people aren't buying. So I think that there probably is more pain for him. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. My throat is just kind of really. Ugh. I'm not as gunked up as I was last week, but it really tickles. I don't know. E-mini kind of being random, to be honest. I mean, if this continues, if we don't have a reversal in the treasury market before the equities open, I would turn around and sell the equities. No? I don't know. It could still flip around in the next 30 minutes, although that would not be the usual tendency.
Seeing a tweet from Sky's Faisal Islam saying just interviewed DUP's Foster ahead of her meeting with the PM later today. She says the PM has a very clear mandate from the Commons and that she should take that clear message that the backstop is replaced to Brussels on Thursday.
On the S&P 500, there's a lot of inventory for downside. Yeah. I see a potential sell here in the E-mini. This I'm not so interested in. Just because, like, when we get sucked back up to 26.5, like, there was a lot of interesting things that happened up in this area. So a new high would not necessarily surprise me, although it's really hard to take here. By the way, I don't think that this is necessarily a good trade anymore, so. Anyways, this is hard for me to take long. The E-mini, though. Ooh, the E-mini looks like a really good short to me. In fact, we'll play with it here. If it can give me that. Let's see. And there the Treasury E-mini's running away from me. I think I have the right spot, though, for myself, so I'm going to leave it alone. I think that we're gonna have another little move up in treasuries. They do appear to be reacting to swings in the E-mini. When the E-mini swings up, the 5-year tends to be coming down, and then when it came down, they pushed up a little bit. Okay. I'm seeing a little bit of shuffling around now after that uptick. Yeah. So here's 24 maybe breaks. Well, hopefully my throat clears because I don't want you guys to have to listen to this all day. Keep having to swallow to try and. I think it's just maybe a little dehydrated today. I didn't drink a ton of water before I went to sleep, and I didn't have my water glass. I might typically take a drink of water in the middle of the night. Didn't do that. Kind of been sleeping weird recently. Like, I've been remembering my dreams. You want to hear about my dreams? I don't normally remember my dreams, but I had a dream that I was at a party and they had a new kind of cup. And it was like a plastic cup, not like a red, not like a, the kind of plastic cup that you buy at the store and you throw away per se, but like the vinyl cups that a lot of people will like get from restaurants and like collect and save them, and it had like a digital display built into it so that you could put your name on it and it would like display animations on the cup. And then it was a dream, right? So it gets weird. So then like when you drank all of the water out of it, there was a speaker at the bottom of it, and so you could use the cup as a phone. Yeah, that was my dream. Not last night, but like the night, 2 nights before that. And last night, I had a dream that my uncle had a trailer stuck in my backyard, except for that I wasn't living here. I was living in like my childhood house, and we had to help him push it out. Isn't that just like the most boring and yet strange thing to dream about? Maybe I need to go hire a psychoanalyst and see what my dreams mean. You're expecting to help somebody in the future. I don't know. I think that they're going to trick through this 13 in ZP, though. I do believe. If they flip around at 13, that would be interesting. I mean, it's just kind of random chance that happens to be the case, that they don't like to pivot at 13. But it does happen. It's not necessarily uncommon. It's just less common than pivoting at any other price. There you go. Tick up. And notice the E-mini ticked down when they all did that. They know I have an order in there to sell the E-mini and they don't want to give it to me. I do see some concerns in, like on CNBC and so forth, that guidance in the first quarter isn't very good. This article looks at what happens if you pair a fiscally conservative view, i.e., repeal ACA, with a socially liberal view, i.e., support gay marriage. For the most part, if the voter held both positions, which is around 15% of the electorate, they were more likely to vote Trump. Yes. Totally. Totally. Because the Donald Trump base is like, to me, the Donald Trump base is like Republicans that didn't like the wars, didn't like all of the culture war around sexual issues, if that makes sense. Like, I know when you go on the Donald, they seem like really socially conservative, right? But they're socially conservative because they don't like, they're afraid of socialism destroying American culture. They're afraid of Islamatization. And things like gay marriage, they don't care about. In fact, they're quite proud to be pro-gay marriage, and they were proud that Donald Trump held a LGBT flag at one of his rallies and things like that. Right? They kind of live in this strange middle zone that the media pretends never existed, because you had the hardline, what do you want to call it, the evangelical right had such a stranglehold on the party. It's people rebelling against that, even though the evangelical right totally supports them too, which is kind of interesting. But that's how he was able to do it. And then he even kind of picks up some of the Republicans, kind of like myself, where like, I think that we should increase the minimum wage. Like, it shouldn't be $7.25, maybe $10. I mean, nobody's going to pay you less than $10 right now, right? So I think that at the very least that we should adjust with the market, although I think that the market's doing a pretty okay job with the minimum wage. All of the other wages I have a problem with. But I say, so here's another thing. Oh, do I really want to get into this right now? It's 7 o'clock. Maybe I'll save that thought for after 8. Yeah? I'll save that thought. Maybe we'll make a clip. They really don't want to film me. Well, it really sucks to see a trend and say, hey, they could go for more, but I don't know how much, and not get involved in it. But I think that I make the right decision there, because I really don't know what this thing's going to do. Just doesn't quite seem right to me. Okay, so they did get through the 13, and now they're trading into 15-16. But you can see the ZB was able to move up much more easily than the 10-year was. 10-year doesn't want to go. Although, despite that, I'm not seeing a real significant shift in the spreads either. And like I said, if we do see a flattener, I think that it's going to come in fast. I think that you're going to see the 5-year just get slammed down. Good morning, Ace. So we'll see if Ace sees it the same way that I've been seeing it. Don't look at my dummies. No cheating. You tell me first, and then we'll see if he if he sees the same thing or not. No, I have an order put on the e-mini right now, but you tell me. I don't want to bias you. No pressure or anything, but I don't want to bias you. I didn't know there would be a quiz. Ah! Man, okay, so was that a new high? Yes, it was a new high. That was a new high in Treasuries. And it looks like my opening range indicator is broken again because that was not the opening range. Unless you're counting like the whole first hour. Still going. And the E-mini is towards the low of its range as they're pushing up.
Let's be aware Trump has tweeted.
Oh boy. Tremendous numbers of people are coming up through Mexico in the hopes of flooding our southern border. We have sent additional military. We will build a human wall if necessary. If we had a real wall, this would be a non-event. It's gonna be one of them mornings, huh? That's the kind of tweet where there might be more, you know? Bonds are showing some bounce. Patrick Rooney seeing that. I'll keep this over here so we can see if he tweets something else. I don't think I'm gonna get filled. Okay, so I am looking at going short at 27, 26, 25. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to go short too, but I was hoping that I could get it from up here, but I'm not so sure about that anymore. And look at the treasuries just go. You know what? I need to fix this anyways. I don't want it in that account. I want it in this account. Try that. I don't feel strong about this one, Luke and Hands. So, what I've been seeing is very, very strong buying in treasuries for no reason, really. I mean, there was definitely some indication. Like, John came and gave us a warning this morning saying that they weren't able to close below 144.31, which is a significant failure and could lead to an up move in. And he said 145.10, and then he said Star Wars reference. And then yes, I did catch that's what you were talking about. Yeah. And then he said 145.22 as single prints. And so I'm saying there's maybe it's because there's an there's an auction today, but I don't think that an auction would justify such a strong move up. Okay, so I'm going to give it 3 points to the upside. And my target is going to be, well, we'll see. My targets are so far down there that... Anyways, so there's a treasury auction, I don't know, a short-term bounce, but in general, I feel that this trend up, super strong trend up, does not make sense unless they were hedging themselves to go short equities. Is my my theory here. I'm a little worried though that on the open that they will buy it and then sell. So I did say 26 would be some resistance. And we are getting that. Should be careful here. This could be totally wrong. Trying to decide what to make for breakfast. Egg sandwich, waffles, French toast. My wife has been making egg casseroles, so I'm eating egg casserole every morning. And I like it. But I think I need to add a little bit more variety back in because... Is that going to give me 27.50? Okay. Too range bound, but too risky for my money. Okay. Interesting. Down tick there. Yeah. So I was mostly interested in seeing if your bias was in line with what I was seeing in Treasuries. Like, the problem I see with this whole setup right now is that there's a really good chance of it moving here. Like, there is a real setup for a real move here, and the correlations would indicate down. But because you have such a great setup for a quote unquote move, there's a good chance that it could move either way first. Yes, that strong correlation between treasuries and the S&P that has made us all so much money. No. This is okay. You have a good point there. But not since you've been in the room have I seen this. This is different. This is the treasuries seeing a strong move from the bottom to the top of the range with almost no pullbacks at all. Like literally in ZB, never more than a tick back. In fact, all three never more than a tick back up to the high of the day. And equities barely moved. Still within the range. I can see treasuries reacting to equities. When equities sell, these tend to pull and you get an opportunity for them to move up. This is a very different scenario. And when I've seen this in the past where you see a really strong move in treasuries and equities don't react to it in the pre-market, they come out on the open and they sell it hardcore.
White House press spokeswoman Sanders saying the Trump dinner with Fed Chair Powell went well.
I'm sure. Wonder if the TA doodads types will gun for the 200 moving average at 2741.5 cash. Okay, so they're at the highs in equities. So they're both kind of doing that. I suppose the other option here is that equities still like that interest rates are not going crazy, and so they're moving up because treasuries are moving up. That's another possibility too. Okay. Well, there's a lot of profit taking here ahead of this 26 in ZN. There's a lot more on the bid and offer here in ES than there appears. Look at them go. Look at that push at 14.5 in ZF. So there was a big move up. There was a big profit taking there, here in the 14.5 area. And now you're getting big volume on both sides. So there's a huge volume node here. There's definitely some trade happening here at 14.5. Right?
Mexico's president saying we'll analyze the possibility of making awarding of Pemex oil contracts more flexible.
Just for everyone's edification, I went with the French toast. You gotta be careful with the French toast because then you're gonna want to put syrup on it, and that's not good. Okay, so the E-mini did sell through that little bit of an iceberg there at 27.75. Now they're trading back and forth across it. It's for a kid who's about to get on a bus. Oh yeah. What time does your kid's school start? My kids are in elementary school and they don't go to school until like 8:30. But those high school kids get out way early, right? Or they go in way early. Yes, I think that ES wants to move back to the low end of the range, and that could potentially push Treasuries up again to another step. Yeah. 3 minutes. There's that rabbit doing stuff. I guess my throat did clear up a little bit, didn't it?
China has made trade policies more transparent, says the Ministry of Commerce. To repeat, China has made trade policies more transparent, says China's Ministry of Commerce.
Okay. Not real news, but okay. Let's reset these. Well, it looks like we got most everybody in the room now. Good morning to everybody. This is probably going to be an explosive open. Maybe not
China
explosive,
says
but
the US trade report doesn't match facts.
oh boy. Oh boy.
To repeat, China saying the US trade report doesn't match the facts. Just be aware we have got the Ministry of Commerce on the wires at the moment.
Okay, here's the open. So it's a little tepid right on the open, but you can see treasuries are still pushing highs. There was some good selling there, but they did not make a ton of progress, did they? So that was not good for our little experiment here. Nope, no sir.
Let's get more from the Chinese Ministry of Commerce here, expressing opposition to the US.
I'm surprised that they're not selling it harder than they have off of that news. Like, that's not good news. Okay. Quite a bit of volume there now. Probably gonna stop me out. Yeah. Sucks. Well, that's what I wanted to do originally. Oh well. That is a pretty. School starts at like 8. They don't really have. They don't really do the bus in my area. Noting that ZB is having trouble going bid. We live so far out we have to bus, or there would be trouble with the Comanche. I see. Okay, so treasuries. Oh, okay, now they are starting to fight. Googling how to go long. Yeah. I wanted to give it, like I was saying, it was going to take a
10 minutes time.
slight
Now
move
to
up
meet
and
the
then a
US
move down.
Market Services PMI. The final reading for January expected to remain unchanged at 54.2. It comes to PMI as well, prior 54.5.
So if this one doesn't reverse on it, then we're done. So I think there was a little bit of fighting there, and then the buyers won short term, and all of the sellers puked. Okay. Now they're back below that level. And see a little bit of sell pressure. Treasury's not necessarily acting like they need to move up again, but they are kind of within the area though. And there is a lot of this going on. Okay, so there's the uptick again. They upticked and then the ES didn't just keep going, and so they downticked. So they're waiting for ES here. Still seeing some more iceberging on the sell side. Okay, there's a big bid at 27.29. It pulled when they sold. Well, they're in no rush yet, but I'd have to say that the move up in ES so far has not been very impressive. There are definitely people getting short here. Seen that 12.19. We've seen that on the offer quite a few times now. There's the CIA tapping into my phone again. Okay, so a little bit of passive buying there at 27.2975. They've formed a tight range, although the treasuries are starting to look aggressive again. I don't know. Because so it's been here a long time, so I think that the cumulative delta might start turning around in the E-mini.
3 minutes now until we get the final January reading for US market services PMI, again expected to remain unchanged 54.2. When it comes to PMI, a prior 54.5.
Maybe this trade is because of the particular time wasn't a good idea. Like the ES going up again. Not quite making it. Yeah, I don't think I properly factored in the 8 o'clock news. So that right there. Yeah.
One minute.
Mm.
10 seconds. It's 54.2 as expected for the services PMI. Composite PMI at 54.4. It's again the US market services PMI 54.2 as expected. The composite PMI at 54.4 against the prior 54.5. I was looking closer there at the breakdown. The services sector PMI, that's the lowest since September, while the final PMI employment index for January at 52.9.
Okay.
The US composite employment index at 53.2.
It looks like sellers are maybe now going to try and make a little bit of a move. Now I can see Delta moving down a little bit more. Yeah. Now buyers not giving it up. Man. Treasuries are really on the edge of their seat watching the E-mini here. So these market makers over here must be thinking the same thing I am, that the E-mini might sell hard.
Bit of equity news now. CNBC reporting that Liberty Media is reportedly joining the bidding for Fox's regional sports networks being sold by Disney.
Okay.
A bit more equity news now. UBS saying Brexit has forced transfer of some of its UK operations, asking UK court to okay moving some of its operations to Germany, saying that Brexit does pose a real and immediate risk.
Okay. So I'd say sellers are making a little bit of progress. It failed to make a new high. They are pushing it down to the bottom. If they push it down past this, then you might see them really get aggressive, or you might start seeing stop runs. Okay, now I'm seeing some guys going short in the E-minis. I'm kind of getting that overly focused sleepiness that I get sometimes when I'm waiting in something for a really long time and I'm like really focused on it, but it's not going. And I start to be like, that's usually not a good sign.
Bit more equity news now. Reuters sources piece that BT has shortlisted Telecom Italia, Retaliate, and Win TRE, as well as Vutel for sale of its Italy business.
They went down there, but they did not make a new low. So they're listening to me and they're messing with me. It must be. It must be. It's the explanation that makes me feel the most important, so that's the explanation that we're going to go with. Okay. So 2730 is the point of
In
control.
10 minutes time, we'll be getting the US ISM non-manufacturing index for January. It's expected at 57.1 against a power of 58.0 in the range of 54.8 to 59.0. On the breakdown, the business activity index expected at 59.5 against a power of 61.2. The employment index is a power of 56.6. On the orders index, power of 62.7.
Look
And
at
prices
that.
paid index of 58.0 previously.
I would be.
Also in 10 minutes time, we're expected to hear from
Hmm.
Prime Minister May. She will be trying to reassure people in Northern Ireland that she can secure a Brexit deal that avoids a hard border with Ireland during her speech to business leaders. So again, we'll be pledging to secure a deal with the EU that commands broad support and a majority in Parliament.
See those? This has been a strong trend up. And now we're seeing a level break set up. I would be really careful about selling treasuries here. Because they are showing a setup that has a high probability of moving higher. Yep, there it is. You at right side of market and selling, but what happening? I don't know. So there's the E-mini threatening highs again, but having trouble doing it. Having a lot of trouble doing it, in fact.
Comments now from the Italian Treasury saying to issue a new 30-year bond via syndicate.
Would that affect us? I don't know. So look, there's some absorption there, 27, 31, 25 on the bid. Quite a bit. Quite a bit on both sides here, in fact. Okay. Sellers won that one, at least for the moment. Are they going to tick back up into it? Okay. Well, hey,
Again, just
Me
repeat that same
Potato is
move lower,
trying to sell
BTP
his
following
license
that
on
Italian
eBay
Treasury
now.
announcement issuing a new 30-year bond via syndicate.
So these buyers in the E-mini find this strange. It seems to me that there are a lot of people long right now in the E-mini. And they do not want it to fall apart. Well, Ace is back. So I think it
Moving
was
equity
at
news now,
26,
comments
right?
of Lafarge Holcomb saying to weigh the options for its Mid East and Africa unit. So it may seek up to $8 billion value for its Mid East Africa. It's coming from a sources piece here.
Going to be watching this level, this 26, because if they get below that 26, then it changes things significantly. So they made a new high and a new high in cumulative delta. Well, I think that I'm stubborn, and sometimes I'm really stupid, but I still really think that they're going to sell the E-mini. This might be a situation where they're just going to take forever, and they're just not going to do it, and it's be hard to... Good grief. I mean, come on. Look at that in Treasuries. That is just a really strong trend in Treasuries. Oh, you can't. There's no way you can... Oh, I need to do these. I was going to say there's no way you could get filled at an acceptable risk location. 31.75 is not bad to sell.
Three minutes now until we get the US ISM non-manufacturing index for January, again as expected at 57.1 against prior 57.6.
They could just wait until the State of the Union to settle down. Well, they might be waiting for the 8 o'clock news. You know, that's a big, a big wild card. You know, I'd have to say there was a little bit of buying on the open, but it was tepid. It wasn't super strong like I thought it might be. And so I think that was maybe a clue that they want to wait until the PMI to really, you know, go. Two ticks, 31.75. And he just takes the two, huh? Well, it is $25. Why not? I wanted to scalp back and forth across the range in here, and it's not. Hasn't been working out in the E-mini. I tell you what, guys, though, this is a really strong trend in Treasuries. It is not quite as exciting or as dramatic as what happened when we moved down on Friday.
1 minute.
But this is some of the strongest trend I've seen in a long time. Look, they're buying it. They're buying it. Okay. So, if big if, but if it does it,
Ten seconds.
okay, the number is we're looking for is 57.2.
56.7, 56.7 for the non-manufacturing PMI from ISM. On the breakdown, the business activity at 59.7, employment index 57.8, prices paid index 59.4, while the new orders index at 57.7. So just repeat that, that's the ISM non-manufacturing PMI 56.7, below expected of 57.1, as the lowest since the matching 56.7 in July, while the new orders index is coming in at 57.7, that was the lowest since December 2017.
Low expected. Yes, actually reaching up there a little bit. Liquidity not quite returned in treasuries. Curious. Not, I mean, there shouldn't be a huge reaction to that, right? The news was slightly disappointed. That's negative. I would think that the E-mini would tend to move down a little bit, so I think it's weird that they're going for the highs, but you shouldn't see a strong reaction from it either. I think I have to take that one right there.
This Prime Minister May has begun making her speech in Belfast.
Okay. Now I see a little bit more of a setup in the E-mini.
There's a bit of comments out of ISM following the release of their index. Respondents were mostly optimistic, but they were concerned on the government shutdown.
Not getting a lot of buying there. Okay. ES is starting to cooperate. Man. Look at the treasuries move up. How is the E-mini not? Well, I mean, maybe they really like that, the low interest rates. I don't know. Okay.
A bit of US political news now. Comments out of Representative Nadler saying that he is seeking to subpoena
Okay.
Acting Attorney General Whitaker.
Subpoena him for what? Seems like she is headed down without me. So does that mean that you took a tick or two again off of the 3175 and well, they're still to this kind of support level and they haven't broken it yet. Below this though, I think that things start to get exciting. Don't want that anymore, by the way. Like I have to confess here with the this guy that keeps coming in to sell a license. It seems like somebody that decided that they weren't good at trading and they invested a ton of money into this platform that they don't want anymore. And it's sad, but I'm kind of like, you know. It's sad that happened, but at the same time, I find it kind of funny. But he is making some people upset, so he should keep that in mind now, yeah? Okay. So there was a move up, again, a pullback.
It's more US political news now. The House Judiciary panel saying to be vote on authorising subpoena for the Acting Attorney General Whitaker to be served if he does not testify on Friday.
Okay. The Treasuries came back on us quite a bit. Like even when I look at the DOM here, see all this white up here? Like I just see a lot of potential future sellers here. Like even if it got up into this range, they're going to have a hard time getting through it. Oh, the fill is so close. Yay. Okay. This is starting to look very negative now in the E-mini because they're almost to the highs in cumulative delta and they're getting down to the lows. So they have a lot of people trapped now. Watch them just, the buyers just pull it out of their butts again like they've been. Okay.
As May just repeating, a changed backstop is the key issue in Brexit process.
I'd say things are looking okay in the Treasury. Yeah. Okay.
As May saying that
There's a little
legally
better.
binding changes to the Irish backstop.
At least it's favorable now. They did make a new low. No, they didn't make a new low. They equaled it again. They weren't able to get below 27, 28, 25. Man, I don't know. How do you get that low to it and not do it? And with that much fuel, what you waiting for? Put them out of their misery. I like that. I like that there in the Treasury, so I got the fill. Ah, okay. New low. So now at this point, the e-mini traders, they aren't puking, but they're really sweating there. Wow, wow, wow. Look at that. Okay, it looks like they're going to go for another dip. Okay. Do you follow the UB almost straight up? Oh, wow, yeah, you're right. I don't know. That is a lower high. And treasuries are still aggressive. So you think that we'll see another tick up, right? A little bit of a stop run. Okay. Out. Oh, I changed that. I guess it didn't work. That's interesting. So I tried to have my razor set up to change the profile to trading, but maybe because we updated day trader, it didn't change it. Well, I think I got a good trade in treasuries. Obviously, it could have been much better. I could have gotten involved much earlier on, but I didn't see it. In the E-mini, it's not quite going, and I don't know if that means that they're moving up because they think that it's kind of more of a QE mode thing or what the deal is, but the buyers are not capitulating at all. They got down there. Things look dire to me, and yet it goes higher. So I think that my read in the E-mini is still not very good, guys. What do you think? I don't know. They're kind of towards the higher end of that range there. Reset it like that. And look, like they start ticking down and treasures are like, yeah, let's buy it again. I can't, I could get back in. Totally. I could totally get back in. But there was like some stop runs and stuff there, so that for me is like you definitely got to take a profit. Maybe if the E-mini had been cooperating, I would maybe hold it for more. But right now, look, it's still they're threatening highs again. And they're already pretty long in the tooth, to be honest. relentless buying. So there they went bid at 28 again.
Bit of Brexit news now reports that Irish PM Varadkar is to meet Barnier to discuss Brexit impasse.
Okay, so it is 8:23, so we're good on the Treasuries front. I don't need to take another trade, and I'm really happy with what I got today. This equities trade, though, is not happening.
A bit of US political news now. CNN reporting Conway that Trump is leaving national emergency as an option. May just reiterating she's not proposing a deal without a backstop. And in commodity news, it's BNP lowering its 2019 oil forecast to $61 per barrel for WTI and $68 for Brent.
I mean, normally seeing that much market buying on the cumulative delta would be a good thing, right? Because it means that buyers are in control for sure. And definitely buyers have been in control. But when I look at this movement, especially when they move down, their hold on this thing looks weak to me. And the treasuries want to go up. They really, I mean, look, I sold at 28. They're 2 ticks higher. I mean, come on. I still really think that it's a short. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills like it's been. How long has it been? An hour? It's been an hour? It should not take them that long to stop me out, you know?
So May just saying there will be a provision for arrangement to prevent a hard border in Ireland.
And here on this thing, like, good grief. Like, where is this gonna? I have no clue. Is it gonna go up to 31?
Some more from the CNN piece.
Evens?
Comments from Trump aide Conway did receive a new DHS border briefing, while Trump is still waiting for border counteroffer from the Democrats.
They got 10 days until the funding runs out again, by the way. I think everybody forgot about that. Maybe he will remind them tonight. Okay, so there was a buy bubble.
She's trying to address the lack of time limit to the backstop and commitment to both avoiding a hard border and leaving with a deal.
There was a bubble, but it was blue. Northam to cabinet. I must stay or be branded a racist for life. I'm telling you, Democrats want him out. Having a guy that's been through something like that in your party is a huge liability. Relentless buying in treasuries, yes. Man. Well, here in the E-mini, they did buy it up, but it's being awfully slow at the moment. Maybe they threaten those highs again, though. Okay. They're giving me a look like, yeah, hey, you could go long here. 29. Okay, that right there in the E-mini is probably not good for longs. Some profit taking. $27.27 looks like a good target. Yeah. Honestly, if this comes back, I would not be surprised to see 27.15. That's a little rosy of a scenario for shorts, but look at this thing. I think that the longer this goes on, though, the probability that the short actually happens becomes less and less. So I think that if it doesn't go, that we'd have to be in a easy money environment, them both going up, you know? That must be what it means.
Just a tweet here from President Trump just criticizing the Democrats.
I see Schumer is already criticizing my State of the Union speech, even though he hasn't seen it yet. He's just upset that he didn't win the Senate after spending a fortune like he thought he would. Too bad we weren't given more credit for the Senate win by the media. Okay. Okay, so I see once again equities made a run at the highs there. Didn't quite go as far. Not over yet. But they are still having a really hard time with that resistance. And there again.
This comes now from the Irish Finance Minister. I would want to be in a position where we have as low friction trade as possible on board or no deal.
Well, I'm going to wait and see the resolution of this if I can, but at the moment it does not look good for the sellers. It does not look good for me, and granted, of course, this is an experiment, and so maybe I don't care if it hits up there, but This is awfully interesting. So there's Treasuries hitting into 28. Maybe another iceberg there. Yeah, okay, so now there's a new high.
It's comments now from the UK DMO saying to sell £2.25 billion worth of 1.625% 2028 gilts. That'll be on February 14th.
There's some pretty strong resistance there. Some odd stuff going on in Vertcoin. Okay, so they made another push, two pushes really, and back. And I'd have to say that my read on spot was really poor. I really don't see anywhere. Where was this a good buy? You know, 29.75. You know, maybe I guess it was kind of right here, but it's just not cooperating. We are getting a sell, so I am gonna wait and see what this one brings. They could get below this bubble here. So far, though, it looks to me like buyers are just in control in ES. We might get my zipper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, well, I guess I just have to watch. I just posted the cryptocurrency notes, so you can, if you are a subscriber, you can go check that out. And definitely, I don't think that I talk about the subscribers on the stream enough, but we have a very loyal base of subscribers. We've had a good 20 or so people subscribing to the cryptocurrency charts now for over a year, and it's just been consistent number of people. So I'm really happy that they are happy with what they're getting. And yeah, I think at some point we're gonna make a ton of money. So we'll kind of keep it on the down low until the buy signal comes, and then after the buy signal comes, then it's gonna be like, let's get this party on. You know what I'm saying? Plaster the link everywhere. Once you've bought, then you got to get everybody else to buy, right? Okay. So there's a little bit of disagreement here again. I have to say, probably I set my stop way too far away. But this is exactly why I don't trade ES. Too hard for me to define the risk. Okay, well, that busted that. All right, well. See, they want to go. That E-mini, it wants to do it. Well, I guess I still have enough time. Still only 41. It's been a long day. Don't you guys feel like it's been a long day? Well, you know what? We can do. So I was gonna say earlier. Remember, I was like, "Hey, I do have a rant for you guys."
Just getting a bit of a response now from Theresa May's speech in Northern Ireland. Comments from the ERG, that's Kevin Schofield's Politics' home editor, saying the source again from the ERG. Even if she doesn't mean what she said, we still do. That's a response to May ruling out deleting the backstop from the withdrawal agreement.
Man, this whole backstop thing is like, I'm sick of hearing about it. Anyways, I was going to say, we were talking about the politics and the people, and something that I've noticed is that millennials just don't own investments at all, even if they could. There's actually a decent number of people doing like the Robin Hood kind of thing. And like the thing is you can invest with like really small amounts of money in Robinhood. It's still hard, but because it's commission free, you can totally do it. But not very many people do. And I was reading a Reddit thread the other day. People were saying, they were talking about taxing the rich, and what were they? Oh, they were talking specifically. Oh, let's see, there's a buy right there in the E-mini. Yeah, I think that they're going to go, they want that. These buyers are not giving up. I've never once seen any kind of, I mean, they've gone down there, but then when they get down there, I don't, they didn't really sweat it. They didn't stay there for very long, These buyers want it for whatever reason. Anyways. I was reading a Reddit thread, and they were talking about the whole thing about corporate companies buying their own shares. Yeah. And there was some Democrats proposing that they shouldn't allow it. And it's an interesting subject that I haven't really looked too much into, so I'm not so sure how I feel about preventing companies from being able to buy back their own shares. But some people were saying that everybody's acting like, oh, it's just an FU. Like when a company buy back its own shares, I got mine, and then screw everybody else. But like, that's not how it works, because we all own stocks, don't we? Like, don't you have a 401k? And then there was people telling me that they didn't. I'm like, what? Like, really? Like even when I was making $10 an hour, I contributed to my 401k. It was like one of those, it was like, yeah, it's a couple of dollars a month or whatever, but you have to do it. And that just means you don't live quite as nice. But apparently some millennials don't see it that way, or don't know that. And they're not buying in there. And I think that we've created this poor situation now where not everybody is invested in the success of markets. And that I think is a very disappointing thing. And maybe explains some of the things that we've been seeing in politics lately. So I still maintain, like if I was some sort of a person with political sway, or maybe I was like a lobbyist or something, that's what I would be lobbying for. Anything that increases the number of people directly buying stocks. Anything. No, if you make under $100,000 a year, you don't pay capital gains taxes. I think that's a great idea. Awesome idea. And anything that makes it easier for people to buy stocks is good. Like Robinhood, that's good. More people buying stocks. Would much rather have money in my trading account making me 10% per day rather than a 401k, but that's just me. Yes, most people are not as good at it as you. And also, like, I think that if you allowed people to invest tax-free without the capital gains, if they make so much, then you could get rid of a lot of these funds. Like I would really like to see people move out of the funds and into directly buying stocks. And then, frankly, I wouldn't mind seeing some regulations around index funds. I don't know what would be appropriate. I think that we're starting to get a little bit outside of my knowledge, but like just spitballing. Maybe you're only allowed to have a certain percentage of your money in an index fund or something like that. I think that we need people to directly own the shares, because then they have a vote on it, you know? And what happens right now is the fund managers make all of the decisions, you know? Like collectively, the middle class owns more of the market. So my understanding is that the middle class owns more of the market. But they have no sway over the board because all of their money is invested through index funds and 401ks where they don't have control over it. And that's not right. That's not the way that the system is supposed to work. The way the system is supposed to work is the public owns public companies, and the public decides what public companies do. And public companies don't do things that are against the interests of the public because the public owns the public companies. And it's no longer the case anymore. Rich people and fund managers own public companies, and they do whatever the fuck they want, regardless of what the public really wants. I like stocks talk about how to pick a good stock for people. It is hard for people, yes. Yes, it is hard for people. But I feel like it should be an essential skill. You know? I think that if you invest in 5 different stocks and you do so wisely, which means not putting them all in the same market and not having them all be like high growth stocks that fall apart or something like that, I think that would be good. But it's not even, you know, I'm just thinking like, you know, in the 50s and 60s, people owned stocks, right? People owned stocks in the 50s and 60s. So sure, there were mutual funds, but this was not really a thing until the 80s. And I'm just saying we need to get things back to like they were in the 50s, when a lot of people directly owned stocks. You know what I mean? So maybe what I was saying there maybe seemed like taking it a little bit further than that. But I'm just saying let's just get it back to getting the amount of participation that we saw in like the 50s. Yeah. I think that would solve a lot of problems, because one, we'd have a lot more money in the markets to provide for growth, and hopefully that money goes to companies that want to grow, and we develop new technologies and things that can take the market into the next phase of history or whatever, right? Is the first thing. And then the second thing is that then people could get more involved in boards. I would like to see investing activism become more of a thing. And then, but then the other side of it is that maybe people would be less inclined to be like, let's just eat the rich. Because they would actually be involved in the market and they understand how it works, you know? Because I think that the problem right now is you have a whole generation of people that don't know how the stock market works, don't own stocks, and they have this idea that they can just say, screw all of the rich people and give it to the government. And it doesn't work like that, you know? I want instant communication, instant coffee, fast cars in the fast lane, instant gratification. I'm not going to wait to get 1 million. This is a really good comment, dude. Maybe it is that the millennials just don't have the attention span to invest their money, and that's why they just spend it. Do you know the bet Buffett made saying the S&P index would outperform most other investments over a long period of time? Well, sure. I mean, I think we all know that. I think that the idea is that if you invest in 5 different stocks, which is and you properly allocate them, then you generally should get that 10%. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but generally you should get that 10%. You know? The young people are fear from 2008. It's foolish. Yeah, I think that might be the case. I think that there's a feeling amongst millennials that if they invest money in the stock market, that they're just going to get screwed and lose it. And I think that they watch the market as it continues to go up, and they've been skeptical about it the whole time. And, it's just like me today, when it was back at 23 even, I was like, well, I don't know if I can buy it here because it's going. And it wasn't until it got up to 26 where it gave me a signal with high enough probability that I felt confident in buying it. Now here, I'm actually even less confident about it at 28.5 because it's been here for a really long time. I'm scared of market crashes too. That's why I manage my own money. That's my man. Have you guys ever read the book? If you haven't read this book, it's called One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. And this was the guy, he was the best he was the best mutual fund manager ever, basically. And he outperformed the market for like 10 years in a row. And he says in his book, regular everyday people can manage their money better than all of these mutual fund managers because they can see things in their daily life. They know, hey, everybody is buying this thing. And the guys in Wall Street, they don't catch that. They don't see the very beginning. They don't see it until it shows up in earnings. And so you can find real edge just being an everyday person. And who knows? Maybe if more everyday people started investing in the market, maybe the average returns in the S&P would go up because having more everyday people involved would make the market more efficient. Maybe. Then in that case, you're kind of looking at, you might underperform the index, but you're outperforming what you would have without those changes that encouraged more people to invest. At the very least, I think that we need millennials need to be buying investing into their 401k, because if they're not even investing into their 401k, then we're in a real world of hurt when everybody starts retiring. At this point, I would wait for the market to go down if I were to invest in stocks. I think that opportunity in December was a really good opportunity. I actually went to see if I could contribute more to my 401k at the beginning of January, but I went and found out that if I made a change, all I could do was change my monthly contribution amount, and it wouldn't happen until the end of the month, and I was like, well, it will be too late then. So I wasn't able to do anything about it. But I remember I made that video where I was like, don't invest on your politics, And then I said, there's a lot of people that are really bearish down here, and I think that maybe they're bearish because they're Democrats. And then when I saw the way that the markets opened at the beginning of the new year, I was really, really encouraged by it. And I thought, you really want to buy it. You're not going to get a better buy opportunity than this for a very, very long time. And I think I was right. I don't know if we're going to go higher from here. It sure seems like that the E-mini has a lot of resistance above us. There's a couple of levels all the way up to 2740, and it looks like that the market is willing to buy up all of that liquidity. But once we get beyond that point, it starts to become a little bit questionable to me. I had a couple of friends who bought stocks on momentum via scanners. It worked until they couldn't transition to the volatile bear market territory. They got wiped out in October. And I guess I'll just leave you with, because it is time for me to go, but I'll just leave you with the thought. You have to adjust. Markets are always changing, and the strategy that you are using to make money in the markets today probably isn't going to work in a year because it changes, and there's maybe different modes that you can switch between, and it's hard to catch when those modes change and so forth. You can do it though, but even that changes at some point because the world changes. And yeah, a lot of people probably can't manage it. But, you know, that's always happened. Like, everybody loses money in a stock market crash, right? Doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. It just means that those of you that are really willing to put the time and effort into it are going to be really rewarded for it. And while all of those people might just barely meet the index, or maybe even probably be a little bit below that, you could make huge gains and double, triple your money over and over and over again. But there's definitely, I guess if anything, I just wish that there was more people trying to do what you guys are doing, trying to understand the market, trying to understand investing and the best ways to do it, and having opinions on the way that the market functions, because right now it feels like that a really good portion of the country doesn't care. They're not involved. And even though this system is basically what drives everything about our way of life, they don't care if it just gets completely destroyed. That's like super scary to me. Anyways, yeah, I'm glad lots of comments, so I think that was a good discussion, and that's like my big thing, so I love talking about that. And today, we did do well. Obviously, I feel bummed because my E-mini trade didn't work out, but we know that I have trouble with the E-mini, and we're not counting those in like my performance, right? It's only the trade in the Treasuries that we care. So just that one. And we made a pretty good, 7 tick profit on that one. So that's awesome. Awesome. Wish, that I had taken more, but I'm happy with how I'm doing so far. Don't know what the E-mini is going to do. Maybe they are just in like easy money risk on move. That's what it looks like. I mean, I guess that's the only conclusion I can make. Anyways, it's time for me to go. So I will see you guys tomorrow, Wednesday. Wednesday should be good. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.